JJ Gabriel does it again. What an insane goal he scores yet again for the Manchester United under-18s. And you know what's funny about this is there was Arsenal fans online giving him slander. Imagine giving a 15-year-old kid slander, calling him overhyped, calling it overrated, like writing off a 15-year-old. It's just nuts. And he just responds today by just having an insane game for the under-18s, who are one of the best goals you'll see. And we're going to talk about JJ Gabriel, his future. Obviously, if Carrick stays, I think there's an opportunity for a debut for him next season and more. We've been linked to Camavinga as well. Apparently, United have their sights set on Camavinga. We'll talk about news on that. I mean, I'm not going to say no to Camavinga. I think he's a fantastic player. But the problem with Camavinga is his injuries at the moment. That makes him a bit of a red flag. We're going to talk about Baleba, why Manchester United still like him, why we're still looking at Baleba. Could we get Baleba? Who is the most likely midfield signing as of now? Maguire close to signing a new deal, and we're going to talk about Michael Carrick's future. He still isn't favourite for the Manchester United job just quite yet. We're going to talk about all the latest on that. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news, and update roundup show. Well, I'm going to round up all the latest Manchester United news into a 10-minute video for you guys. Starting with JJ Gabriel. Now, just to let you know, this is the angle he scored from. Bear in mind, he was doing some skill, kept the ball for a few minutes, weak foot from this angle, went in the back of the net. He, so far, actually hasn't updated, has 13 goals and 2 assists in 16 under-18s games. And people don't realise that he's playing 3 years up. He's playing with people 3 years older than him. And that makes a huge difference at such a young age. You know, imagine what he'll do at 18 under-18s level if he's doing this at 14, 15. He's a 14-year-old when he made his under-18s debut, which is nuts. He's an absolute phenomenal talent. He's seen as like a Lamine Yamal academy level talent. Now, that's not saying he's going to be as good as Lamine Yamal, and we can't get carried away and hype him too much. But what I'm saying is, if you look at all the academy players in world football, he's the Lamine Yamal of academy players right now. That doesn't mean he'll be the Lamine Yamal of first team players if he makes it into the first team. But if you're comparing him to like every academy player in football, he is a Lamine Yamal. You know, you've got Max Dowman, who's up there as well. Max Dowman, JJ Gabriel are seen as like the two best talents to come through in the young footballing world. Like, he's very, very highly rated. Now, again, I'm not saying he's going to be Lamine Yamal level. That would be crazy. But like, he's seen, Barcelona want him because he's seen as like the closest academy player to Lamine Yamal. But then you've got Arsenal fan accounts going, JJ Gabriel's overhyped. Seems closer to a Cunha type right now than anything else. That's still fantastic, but not worth the noise. First of all, if JJ Gabriel ends up being as good as Cunha, then I'm very happy with that. Very, very happy with that. But I don't know how you can look at a 15-year-old and say he's a Cunha talent, not a Lamine Yamal talent. Like, I think for his age, he could be a Lamine Yamal level talent if he reaches his potential, but he might not be. But if you compare him to all 15-year-olds right now, he's the best 15-year-old in football. Who's the best player in football? Lamine Yamal. You know? If he ends up being a Cunha level talent, fantastic. If he ends up being a Lamine Yamal level talent, even better. But the reason the kid is hyped is because he's so good. And then, of course, the Arsenal bias comes in. Max Dowman is a near Yamal level talent. He's English, as response to a once-in-a-century weapon from Spain. JJ Gabriel, unless he somehow develops in unforeseen ways, is not this class. He's a great talent by his own right, like a 70 million Cunha grade talent. Now, look, I'm not saying that we should be comparing our youth to Lamine Yamal and overhyping them, but it's really weird that people from other clubs are talking about our youth saying, oh, he's a good talent, but he won't be this level. It's like, right, like, you don't know that. Like, they're like, yeah, my academy player, Max Dowman, is Lamine Yamal, and your academy player, JJ Gabriel, was Mateus Cunha. Like, ha, 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 weirdos. Like, it's just weird. It's like they're trying to almost bring him down without bringing him down. And it's like, if he ends up being Cunha level, great. If he ends up being Lamine Yamal level, great. But, like, Max Dowman and JJ Gabriel were the two best talents in world football. We don't know what's going to happen to them in the next 5-10 years. We don't know if they'll end up being Lamine Yamal level or Mateus Cunha level. You know, we can just look at them now and say these are two elite level talents. Let's not put them up against each other. Let's not compare them. Let's just say there's two elite talents in football. You know, that could be the next big thing. I think it's weird. But anyway, let's continue on into more news stories. Manchester United want to sign Eduardo Camavinga as a replacement for Casemiro. Real Madrid are reportedly willing to sell him for at least €75 million, which is about £60 million. United scouted him when he was at Rennes. I'm a huge fan of Camavinga. I am a huge fan of Camavinga. I think he's a really good player. My only fear with Camavinga is this. He's dropped off recently because of those injury issues. He's already missed 9 games this season through injury. He missed, I think, over 20 games. He missed 23, 29. He missed 33 games last season through injury. I can't have a player that is this injury prone. This is a Mason Mount. But he's probably better than Mason Mount. I think he's a great Casemiro replacement. I think he's a great DM. Look, if Man United can get Camavinga for 50 million and maybe and really work on keeping him fit, maybe. I just think it's such a risk with his injuries. I would want someone that's always available. If Camavinga was guaranteed to stay fit and is going to cost us 65 million, I'd go for it. But he's not guaranteed to stay fit. And I think as good as a player he is, yeah. And also, do I see him wanting to leave Real Madrid for Man United? No. Would I like him? Yes. Would I like to spend a lot of money on him? No, because he's injury prone. Can I see him wanting to come? Not really. Can I see it happening? Not really. It could be one to watch. Like, I mean, it makes sense why we would want him. But I don't think it will happen. I don't think it will happen. I still think if we're going to sign a midfielder, it's going to be Baleba. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily who we should sign, but I do think it will be Baleba. Ben Jacobs on the United stand 2 days ago and said that Baleba's price has yet to be set, with Brighton keeping the valuation close to their chest as usual. Man United are not concerned by his form this season, with age a key factor and belief that his quality would allow him to have a greater impact in their squad than at Brighton. A lot of people saying that despite Baleba being poor this season, Man United are willing to take the risk. They think that he's just young, he's having an off season, he's playing in a bad environment, and that they think he will reach his potential at Man United. And what Baleba showed last season for his age was incredible, and there's obviously very good reason why we like Baleba and we're looking at him. Brighton are keeping the valuation close to their chest, according to Ben Jacobs. They're not telling anyone what it would take to buy Baleba, and the reason Brighton are doing that is because Baleba's been crap this season, but they still want to get a load of money for him. They knew that they could have got 80, 90 million for Baleba last year, and they kept him. Now they know that no one's really going to give them much more than 60, 70 million for Baleba, so they're keeping the price close to their chest because they want Man United to make a blind bid to try and get as much money out of us as possible for Baleba. Brighton will want to sell Baleba in the summer. He's not been very good. His head's not there, but they've realised they're not going to get as much money as they would have if they actually just sold him to us last year. So I think they want us to blind bid. I think they're being very sneaky of what the price tag is. I think we could probably get Baleba in that 60 million range. I think considering his form, he's not worth spending more than 70 million on. I don't think many people would want to spend 70 million on considering his form, but Brighton want to make as much money as possible out of Baleba. I think we're going to go for Baleba. Unfortunately, I think Anderson goes to City. I think Tonali will be difficult to do. I think Wharton goes to Liverpool. I think we'll go for Baleba. I think that Baleba will be a good signing for Man United, and I think he will become good. I think he's just having a one-off off season, but because of how poor Baleba's been this season, I don't want to break the bank for him. In terms of other updates, Dean Jones says that Maguire is close to agreeing a new contract with Man United, and he's accepted a significant pay cut to stay. Apparently, that's sort of expected to happen. He didn't want talks with any other club before speaking to Man United. It's been said that Maguire wants to stay. He's willing to take a pay cut, and United are working on giving him a new deal, but nothing is official yet. And then last but not least, Ben Jacobs, when he was on the United stand the other day, did say that Man United have appointed Michael Carrick as a head coach rather than an interim, so he can be involved in all aspects of the club and what they do. However, as of now, he's currently not putting forward any transfer targets for the summer, as he's not been told he's in consideration for a permanent role. Man United by April will expect to have a clear idea of whether Carrick will be a genuine candidate or not. So Ben Jacobs is saying on Michael Carrick, he's not planning any transfers for the summer. He's not having conversations with those at Man United about transfers because he doesn't know if he'll be the permanent manager. Man United by April will have a clear idea if Carrick is in a picture to become permanent manager. AKA, if we get to April, Carrick is still winning a lot of games and still doing very well. He's very much in contention for permanent manager. If we get to April, we've fallen off and we're sitting in 8th place, Carrick is probably not in contention for permanent manager. So Man United are going to wait to April before having any conversations with Carrick. That's why Michael Carrick isn't having any conversations about summer transfers. Ineos are just putting up a list of players that they like, who would depend on UCL football, who wouldn't depend on UCL football, who they think we can get, who suits different managers, and more. So while there's a feeling if Carrick does well, he will get the job. As of now, Carrick isn't favourites to get the job. There's no plans to give Carrick the job as of now. Man United are not going to make any decisions until April. Listen, people, that is your 10-minute roundup. Thank you for watching today's video. See you next time. Bye.